When Dolores Jordan, 84, was poorly treated at one of Chicago's most exclusive private hospitals because she didn't look like she had premium health insurance, judged by her simple clothes, she never imagined she would tell her son about the humiliating experience. But a phone call to Michael Jordan triggered a chain of events no one could have predicted. The glass doors of the Prestige Medical Center open with an elegant whisper. Italian marble gleams under crystal lights. The air smells of expensive disinfectant and privilege. Dolores Jordan, 84, walks slowly through the lobby. Her hands tremble slightly, not from fear but from pain. The arthritis she's carried for decades is flaring up again. She wears a simple coat, comfortable shoes, a purse that has seen better days. Rebecca Thompson looks up from the reception desk. Her fingers stop typing. The professional smile fades as she sizes up the elderly woman approaching. She sees no expensive jewelry, no designer clothing, none of the outward signs of someone who can afford the hospital's premium services. "Can I help you?" Rebecca asks, her tone already laced with judgment. "I need medical attention," Dolores replies, her voice still strong despite her age. "My joints are causing me a great deal of pain." Rebecca looks at the computer screen, then at Dolores, then back at the screen. Her eyes scan quickly. Gray hair without salon treatment, skin marked by time, hands that have worked a lifetime. "Do you have premium health insurance?" she asks, not even trying to hide the skepticism in her voice. "I do have health insurance, yes." "What kind of insurance?" The question sounds more like an accusation. Dolores feels something familiar stir in her chest. It's the same feeling she had decades ago when she took her small children to the hospital and staff made them wait hours in the emergency room. "Medicare," she replies, lifting her chin with dignity. Rebecca sighs, a sigh that says everything, a sigh that says, "I knew it," a sigh that carries decades of systemic discrimination. "I'll need you to go to that area over there." She points to a side hallway where the chairs are plastic and the lighting dimmer. It's the basic care section. The word basic drips from Rebecca's lips like poison disguised as honey. "But I have a specific appointment with Dr. Harrison," Dolores protests. "My physician referred me to him." "Doctor, Harrison only sees patients with premium insurance. I'll see if one of the residents can take a look at you." Dolores feels her blood boil. She knows this song. She's danced this dance before. But to think that in 2025, after all she's been through, after all she's accomplished, after watching one of her sons become one of the most respected men on the planet, she would still have to endure this. "Listen here, young lady," Dolores says, her voice taking on the tone she used when Michael was little and misbehaving. "I'm not asking for charity. I have insurance. I made an appointment. I came here to be treated with dignity." Rebecca glances around to see if anyone is listening. Other staff pretend not to notice the rising tension. Well-dressed patients walk straight to the elevators. No waiting, no questions. "Ma'am, I understand your situation, but we have protocols. People with your type of coverage are seen in the basic wing. That's just how it works." "My type of coverage?" Dolores repeats, each word heavy as iron. "Look, I'm not going to argue about this. Either you go to the designated area, or you'll need to find another hospital." The silence that follows is deafening. Dolores feels all eyes on her, some curious, some embarrassed, others clearly judging whether she deserves to be there. Jennifer Martinez, a nurse watching from a distance, feels her stomach churn. She's seen this scene before, too many times, but something about the elderly woman's posture, the dignity she maintains even while being humiliated, makes Jennifer ashamed to work there. "Fine," Dolores finally says. "I'll go where you want me to go." She walks to the basic area. The plastic chairs creak as she sits down. The room smells different. There's no expensive scent of premium cleanliness, no luxury magazines, no respect. Dolores waits, and waits, and waits. An hour passes, 2 hours. Other people arrive, get called, and leave. She remains seated, watching the flow. She sees how the premium patients are treated. She sees how their names are called with a smile, how they are gently escorted. When they finally call her name, it's nearly 4 p.m. The resident who sees her barely looks her in the eyes, asks basic questions, prescribes generic medication, 10 minutes of consultation after 4 hours of waiting. I need some more specific exams, Dolores says. I'll refer you to the public hospital, the doctor replies, scribbling on a paper. They have the right equipment for your kind of need. Your kind of need. That phrase again. Dolores takes the paper, puts it in her purse, and leaves. She doesn't look back, doesn't give Rebecca the satisfaction of seeing her frustration, but inside she is boiling. The glass door closes behind her with the same elegant whisper, but now it sounds like a door slamming in her face. Dolores Jordan's apartment isn't luxurious, but it's full of love. Family photos cover every surface. Basketball trophies share space with her children's graduation certificates. The entire house tells the story of a woman who raised champions. Dolores sits in her living room armchair, still wearing her coat. Her hands tremble, now not just from pain, but from suppressed anger. She looks at the crumpled referral paper and throws it on the coffee table. The humiliation burns like acid in her chest. She closes her eyes and remembers another time. 1975. Michael was just 12 years old and had broken his arm playing basketball. She took him to the nearest hospital, but they were sent to the emergency room because they didn't look like they could afford priority care. She remembers waiting 6 hours with her son groaning in pain. She remembers seeing other children, white, well-dressed, being seen first. She remembers Michael asking, "Mom, why do we always have to wait longer?" Back then, she didn't know what to say. Today, at 84 years old, she knows exactly why. And that makes her even more furious. Dolores gets up and goes to the kitchen. She makes some tea, trying to calm her nerves. But the anger doesn't fade. It intensifies. How is it possible that in 2025, after everything Black Americans have been through, after all the civil rights struggles, after watching one of her sons become a global icon, she is still treated like a second-class citizen? She thinks about all the other people who must go through the same situation. How many Dolores Jordans are out there, being humiliated daily in hospitals, stores, banks? How many are judged by their appearance, their age, their skin color? The phone rings. Dolores looks at the screen and sees the name that always makes her heart race with joy. Michael. She hesitates. Part of her wants to tell him everything. Part of her wants to protect her son from yet another injustice he can't control. Michael already carries the weight of being a symbol, of being seen as the representative of an entire community. Is it fair to place another burden on him? The phone stops ringing. Dolores sighs and returns to her armchair. But Michael doesn't give up. He never gives up. The phone rings again. "Hi, Mom. How are you?" Michael Jordan's voice comes through the phone, full of genuine affection. Even being one of the most powerful men in the world, when he talks to Dolores, he's still the boy she raised. "I'm fine, son," she replies, trying to sound normal. But Michael knows every nuance of his mother's voice. 46 years of life haven't erased his ability to sense when something is wrong. "Mom, what happened?" "It was nothing, Michael. Just a tough day." "Mom," his voice becomes more serious. "You know you can't lie to me. What happened today?" Dolores feels her eyes burn. She didn't want to cry, didn't want to seem weak, but the kindness in her son's voice breaks all her defenses. "I went to the hospital today. I need some tests for this arthritis that's killing me. And, she swallows the lump in her throat. And they treated me like I was a burden, like I didn't have the right to be there." Michael is silent for a moment. Dolores can practically hear him processing the information. "Which hospital?" "Michael, let it go. It's not important." "Which hospital, Mom?" His voice now has a tone she recognizes. It's the same tone he used when someone committed a hard foul on him on the court. Controlled, but dangerous. "Prestige Medical Center." "But son, I don't want you to..." "What exactly happened? Tell me everything, every detail." Dolores sighs and begins to recount. She tells him about Rebecca, about the basic area, about the 4-hour wait, about the 10-minute consultation, about being referred to the public hospital. Michael listens silently. When she finishes, he says nothing for long seconds. "Michael, are you there?" "I'm here, Mom. I'm thinking." "Thinking about what?" thinking that maybe it's time some people learned a lesson about respect. Something in Michael's voice makes Dolores shiver. It's not explosive anger. It's something colder, more calculated, more dangerous. Son, I just want you to know it wasn't your fault. You don't have to carry this. Mom, you're wrong. It is my fault. What do you mean? Because I have the power to change the situation, and I haven't done anything yet. Because I have the influence to make sure no mother is treated this way, and I let you go through this. Michael, you can't control the whole world. Maybe not the whole world, but I can control how people treat my mother, and I can show this hospital what it means to discriminate against a Jordan. Dolores feels a chill in her stomach. She knows that tone. It's the same tone Michael had when he decided he would be the best basketball player in the world. It's the tone of absolute determination. What are you going to do? I'm going to fix this. Trust me, Mom. Tomorrow you and I are going back to that hospital. Together. Michael, you don't have to. Yes, I do. And I'm going to prove to those people that dignity isn't something you buy. It's something you demand. After they hang up, Dolores keeps looking at the phone. She knows she set something in motion, something that goes far beyond a simple complaint about service. Michael Jordan isn't just a former basketball player. He's a brand, an institution, a symbol. And when a symbol decides to act, the whole world pays attention. Dolores leans back in the armchair and closes her eyes. The memories return like waves, each one bringing back a piece of pain she thought she had overcome. 1963. She was only 24 years old and pregnant with Michael. The clinic where she had her prenatal care was across town because it was the only one that accepted people like her. There was no adequate public transportation. She walked for miles under the scorching North Carolina sun, carrying Michael Jordan in her womb. She remembers arriving at the clinic, sweaty, tired, with swollen feet, only to be told the doctor had left early and that she should come back another time. That happened 3 times before she finally got a real appointment. 1968. Michael was 5 years old and developed a high fever that wouldn't go down. Dolores took him to the nearest hospital, a whites-only hospital. They were turned away. The doorman was polite but firm. You should try the hospital on the south side of town. You'll be taken care of there. The South Side Hospital was 40 minutes away. Dolores didn't have a car. She had to take 2 buses with Michael burning up with fever in her lap. When they finally arrived, Michael was unconscious. He spent 3 days hospitalized with pneumonia. Mom, I'm going to be rich when I grow up, said Michael, still in the hospital bed. I'm going to be so rich that you'll never have to wait for anything again. Dolores smiled, thinking it was just childish talk. But there was something in Michael's eyes at that moment, a determination she had never seen in a 5-year-old. 1975. Michael, now 12, broke his arm playing basketball. Dolores took him to the nearest hospital, but they were sent to the emergency room because they didn't seem to have adequate health insurance. 6 hours of waiting, Michael groaning in pain, other kids being seen first. Why do we always have to wait longer, Mom? Asked Michael, tears in his eyes. Sometimes people judge others by their appearance, son, but that doesn't define who we are. When I grow up, no one is going to treat you like that, declared Michael, still with his broken arm. I promise. She called Michael, venting her frustration. Mom, in 5 years this won't happen anymore. I'll have enough money so you'll never have to beg for anything again. Son, it's not about money, it's about respect. Then I'll earn so much respect that no one will dare to disrespect you. And Michael kept his promise. He became the greatest basketball player in history, made billions, built an empire. But even so, despite all her son's success, Dolores still faced situations like the one today. Because racism doesn't distinguish a family's bank account. Because discrimination doesn't care about last names. Because to many people, she's still just an elderly black woman who doesn't look like she has money. Dolores opens her eyes and looks at the photos on the wall. Michael in a Bulls jersey. Michael with MVP trophies. Michael welcomed at the White House. Michael at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. All that success, all that recognition, and she was still treated like a second-class citizen today. But something tells her that's about to change. For good. 6:30 a.m. Michael Jordan's private office in Chicago is in a frenzy. Phones ringing nonstop. Assistants rushing down the hallways. The boss woke up determined to turn the world upside down. Marcus Johnson, Michael's executive assistant and personal attorney for 15 years, has never seen him like this. Focused, yes. Determined, always. But this is different. This is personal. This is war. Marcus, I want every detail about the Prestige Medical Center on my desk in an hour. Michael orders, pacing the office like a caged lion. Owners, administrators, service policies, complaint history, everything. I'm already on it, MJ. But can I ask what the plan is? Michael stops walking and looks out the panoramic window showing the entire city of Chicago. Down below, millions of people are starting another day. How many of them will face what his mother went through yesterday? The plan is simple, Marcus. I'm going to teach some people about respect, and I'm going to do it in a way they'll never forget. Do you want me to activate the legal department? I want you to activate everything. Legal, public relations, our investigation team. I want to know everything about that hospital. I want to know if there are other cases like my mother's. I want to know every cent they make, every discriminatory policy they practice. Marcus takes notes quickly. He's known Michael long enough to know that when he speaks like this, he's not bluffing. And I want you to hire the best civil rights attorneys in Chicago. Today. How many? All of them. Michael's phone rings. It's Dolores. Mom, how did you sleep? Didn't sleep much, son. I keep thinking you might be overreacting. Mom, you taught me that when something's wrong, we don't stay silent. Remember when I was a kid and the school team coach didn't let me play because I was too small? I remember. You told me, Michael, sometimes you have to show people who you are. Not with words, but with actions. That's what I'm going to do today. Dolores sighs on the other end of the line. She knows there's no point in arguing when Michael has made up his mind. What time are you picking me up? Noon. And Mom, wear your nicest outfit. Today you'll be treated like the queen you are. After hanging up, Michael turns to Marcus. Call the press, CNN, NBC, ABC, all the major papers. Tell them Michael Jordan will make an important statement about discrimination in the American healthcare system today at 2 p.m. Where? At the Prestige Medical Center. Marcus gulps. He knows what this means. When Michael Jordan holds a press conference, the world stops to listen, and when he does it at a specific location, it's because something historic is about to happen. MJ, are you sure about this? Once it hits the media, there's no going back. Marcus, my mother is 84. She raised her kids through hard work. She taught me the meaning of dignity, respect, and hard work. Yesterday, a bunch of people treated her like trash just because she wasn't wearing expensive clothes. Michael pauses and looks Marcus straight in the eye. If I can't use my influence to protect my own mother, then what's the point of having all this power? Marcus gets it. This isn't just Michael Jordan, the billionaire businessman. This is Michael Jordan, the son who loves his mother more than anything in the world. I'll get everything ready. As Marcus leaves to organize the operation, Michael picks up the phone and dials another number. David Rodriguez, this is Michael Jordan. I need you to cancel all your appointments today. We have work to do. David Rodriguez is considered the best civil rights attorney in Illinois. He's taken on giant corporations, governments, powerful institutions, but he's never had Michael Jordan as a client. Mr. Jordan, it's an honor. How can I help you? Racial discrimination at a private hospital. I want to sue for emotional distress, discriminatory practices, and anything else we can. And I want other patients who've experienced the same thing to join the lawsuit. That could take months to... David, you don't understand. I'm not talking about a normal lawsuit. I'm talking about an action that's going to change how private hospitals treat Black and poor patients across the country. Understood. I need to hear all the details. You'll hear every detail at noon, because you're coming with me to the hospital, in person. David stays silent for a moment. He had processed hundreds of discrimination cases, but never had the opportunity to directly confront those responsible with a global star by his side. I'll be there, Mr. Jordan. Michael hangs up and smiles for the first time since yesterday. It's not a smile of joy. It's the smile he used to have on the court when he knew he was going to win the game. At 11 a.m., the office is transformed into a command center. Private investigators brought detailed reports on the Prestige Medical Center. The legal team prepared documents for a class action lawsuit. The PR team coordinated press coverage. Marcus approaches with a thick folder. MJ, you're going to want to see this. Inside the folder are dozens of statements. Black and Latino patients who had been discriminated against at the Prestige Medical Center. Elderly people who were directed to basic care. Poor families who were treated with disdain. Michael reads each statement with growing indignation. His mother wasn't an isolated case, she was part of a systematic pattern of discrimination. How many people? So far, we've found 43 documented cases in the last 2 years, and we're still investigating. I want you to find these people. I want David to speak to every one of them. I want them to know they're not alone. We're already doing that. Michael checks his watch. 11:30 a.m. It's time to pick up his mother. 12:15 p.m. A convoy of cars pulls up in front of the Prestige Medical Center. The first is a black limousine with tinted windows. The second is a black SUV with security. The third is a van with filming equipment. The limousine doors open simultaneously. On the right side, Michael Jordan steps out. Impeccable Armani suit, shiny Italian shoes, a presence that fills any space. On the left, Dolores Jordan steps out. She's unrecognizable. Elegant dress, professionally styled hair, a complete transformation. But the real transformation is in her eyes. Yesterday, there was humiliation. Today, there is determination. Security positions themselves discreetly. David Rodriguez steps out of the SUV carrying a leather briefcase. Michael's team begins setting up equipment. People on the street stop to watch. Some recognize Michael immediately. Others are simply curious about all the activity. Smartphones start appearing. Photos are taken. Videos are recorded. Inside the hospital, Rebecca Thompson is at the reception desk when she notices the commotion through the window. She furrows her brow, trying to make sense of what's happening. Jennifer, are you seeing this? She asks a passing nurse. Jennifer Martinez approaches the window and her blood runs cold. She recognizes the woman getting out of the limousine. It's the same lady who was humiliated yesterday. Only now she's not alone. Oh my God, Jennifer whispers. It's him. It's really him. Who? Michael Jordan. Rebecca feels as if the ground has vanished beneath her feet. Yesterday, she humiliated an elderly woman in simple clothes. Now she finds out that woman is Michael Jordan's mother. This can't be happening, murmurs Rebecca, feeling cold sweat on her forehead. Other staff members begin crowding near the windows. The buzz grows. Internal phones start ringing. The news spreads through the hospital like wildfire. Dr. Patricia Williams, the medical director, receives a call in her office. Doctor, you need to come down to the reception. Why? I'm in a meeting. Michael Jordan is here, with lawyers and press. Dr. Williams feels her stomach drop. She knows exactly why Michael Jordan is there, and she knows this won't end well for the hospital. Outside, Michael gently takes his mother's arm, but his eyes scan the environment like a predator studying its territory. He notes every detail, the security cameras, the exits, how many employees are watching from the windows. You ready, Mom? I was born ready, son. They walk toward the main entrance. Michael keeps a slow pace, allowing his mother to set the rhythm, but also giving everyone inside the hospital enough time to realize who's coming. The glass doors open with the same elegant whisper as yesterday, but this time the sound feels different. It feels like the entrance of a storm. The Italian marble lobby and crystal lights welcome their visitors, but today the atmosphere is completely different. There's tension in the air, fear in the eyes of the staff, anticipation among the patients who recognize the imposing figure walking through reception. Michael doesn't wear sunglasses. He doesn't try to hide. He doesn't pretend to be there by accident. He wants everyone to know exactly who he is and why he's there. Rebecca, behind the reception desk, tries to compose herself, but her hands tremble as she sees the trio approaching. Michael Jordan, the woman from yesterday, and a man in a suit who is clearly a lawyer. Good morning, says Michael, his voice echoing through the lobby. We'd like to speak to the hospital administration. His voice is calm, polite, but carries an authority that silences the entire lobby. Conversations halt mid-sentence. People stop walking. Even the sound of the air conditioning seems to fade. Rebecca gulps. Her customer service training didn't cover how to handle a situation like this. Mr. Mr. Jordan, she stammers, it's an honor to have you here. How can I help you? The irony is not lost on anyone. Yesterday, Rebecca barely looked at Dolores. Today, she's bowing before her son. Yesterday, my mother was here, says Michael, his voice still calm but gaining a dangerous undertone. She was not treated with the respect she deserves. Rebecca feels the blood drain from her face. She looks at Dolores, then at Michael, then at the lawyer, then at the several people recording everything on their phones. I remember the lady, says Rebecca, trying to sound professional. There must have been some misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Michael repeats the word like it leaves a bitter taste. You directed my mother to a basic care area because you assumed she couldn't afford proper treatment. The silence in the lobby is deafening. Everyone is listening. Everyone is recording. Rebecca knows that every word that comes out of her mouth now will be scrutinized by millions of people. Mr. Jordan, we have protocols, she begins. Protocols? Michael interrupts her. Which protocol says you should judge a person by the clothes they wear? Which protocol authorizes humiliating an 84-year-old woman who raised 5 children and worked her whole life? Dr. Patricia Williams appears in the lobby, walking quickly toward the group. She knows she needs to control the situation before it gets completely out of hand. Mr. Jordan, she approaches with a forced smile. I'm Dr. Patricia Williams, medical director. It's a pleasure to meet you. Michael does not smile back. He does not extend his hand. He just looks at her with an expression that would make an iceberg sweat cold. Dr. Williams, I imagine you know why I'm here. I believe there was a misunderstanding yesterday. There was no misunderstanding, Michael interrupts. There was discrimination, there was prejudice, there was disrespect, and it stops here, today. The tension in the air is palpable. Employees crowd nearby, pretending to work but clearly paying attention to every word. Patients stop their activities to watch the confrontation. Jennifer Martinez, the nurse who witnessed everything yesterday, feels her heart race. She knows she is about to witness something historic. Michael Jordan positions himself in the center of the lobby. He doesn't need to shout to be heard. His presence, his posture, his reputation make everyone stop what they're doing and pay attention. My name is Michael Jordan, he begins, even knowing that everyone there already knows who he is. And this is my mother, Dolores Jordan. He places his hand reverently and proudly on Dolores' shoulder. Yesterday, this extraordinary woman came to this hospital seeking medical care. She is 84 years old. She raised 5 children alone. She worked 3 jobs at the same time to put food on the table. She taught me the meaning of dignity, respect, and perseverance. His voice echoes through the lobby, clear and powerful. And yesterday you treated her like garbage. Dr. Williams tries to intervene. Mr. Jordan, perhaps it's better if we talk privately? No, Michael interrupts without even looking at her. This won't be talked about privately. This will be discussed here, in front of everyone. Because it was here, in front of everyone, that my mother was humiliated. He turns to Rebecca, who is visibly trembling behind the counter. You looked at my mother and decided she didn't deserve respect. Why? Because she wasn't wearing a designer dress? Because she didn't arrive here in a limousine? Because she has dark skin and is 84 years old? Rebecca opens her mouth, but no sound comes out. You sent her to a basic care area, Michael continues. As if there was any human being who deserves only basic care. As if dignity were something you buy with money. The crowd gathered in the lobby is completely silent. Phones record every second. Hospital staff try to seem invisible. I want everyone here to understand one thing. Michael raises his voice. My mother didn't need me to be treated with respect yesterday. She deserved respect because she is a human being. She deserved respect because she paid for her health plan. She deserved respect because she came here looking for help. He pauses, letting his words resonate. But since you only understand the language of power and money, then let's speak that language. Michael turns to David Rodriguez, who approaches with a briefcase. This is David Rodriguez, one of the best civil rights lawyers in the country. He's here because we're going to sue this hospital for racial discrimination, prejudice practices, and moral damages. Dr. Williams turns pale. Mr. Jordan, I'm sure we can resolve this civilly. Civilly? Michael repeats, his voice turning icy. Do you think treating my mother like a second-class citizen was civil? Dolores, who had remained silent until now, steps forward. May I speak? She asks her son. Michael nods, proud. My name is Dolores Jordan, she says, her voice weak from age but firm in determination. Yesterday I came here feeling pain, physical pain in my joints. But I left here with a much worse pain, the pain of humiliation. Her words cut the silence like a blade. You looked at me and saw an old, black woman in simple clothes and decided I wasn't important, that I didn't deserve the same treatment you give to other people. Jennifer Martinez, watching from afar, feels tears in her eyes. I raised my children, Dolores continues. They all became good people. One of them became the greatest basketball player in history, but that's not why I deserve respect. I deserve respect because I'm human. The lobby is so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. And how many other mothers like me have you treated this way? How many other families left here humiliated? Michael approaches his mother and whispers something in her ear. She smiles and nods. Dr. Williams, Michael addresses the director again. My mother wants me to give you a chance to do the right thing. What do you suggest? First, I want a public apology to my mother. Here now in front of everyone. Dr. Williams looks around. Dozens of people are filming. She knows anything she does will be online within minutes. Mrs. Jordan, she addresses Dolores, on behalf of Prestige Medical Center, I sincerely apologize for the inadequate treatment you received yesterday. This does not represent our values. This doesn't represent your values? Michael questions. Then why did it happen? And why, according to our investigation, has it happened to at least 43 other people in the last 2 years? Dr. Williams swallows hard. She didn't expect Michael to have investigated. Secondly, Michael continues, you will immediately implement a training protocol for all employees about respectful and non-discriminatory service. Third, you will create a free care program for low-income families in the community. And fourth, Michael pauses dramatically, even so, we will proceed with the lawsuit, because this is not about money. It's about making sure no one else endures the humiliation my mother went through. Dr. Williams feels the world collapsing around him. A lawsuit from Michael Jordan will attract national attention. It will ruin the hospital's reputation. It will cost millions. Mr. Jordan, please, let's discuss this calmly. There's nothing left to discuss, Michael replies. You had the chance to treat my mother with dignity yesterday. You wasted that chance. Now you'll have to face the consequences. He turns to leave, but stops and looks one last time at Rebecca. And you, he points at her, learn a lesson. Never judge a person by their appearance. Never assume someone doesn't deserve respect, because you never know who you are humiliating. Michael offers his arm to Dolores. Together they walk toward the exit, followed by David Rodriguez and the entire team. The glass doors close behind them, but the impact of his words continues to echo through the lobby. Rebecca sits heavily in the chair, knowing her career has just been destroyed. Dr. Williams rushes to his office, knowing he will have to make several emergency calls. And Jennifer Martinez smiles for the first time in a long while, realizing she has just witnessed a moment that will change everything. Outside the hospital, a small crowd is gathered. News travels fast in the age of social media, and videos of the internal confrontation are already circulating on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Reporters arrive from various stations. Professional cameras position themselves. Michael doesn't seem surprised by the attention. He expected it. He planned it. David Rodriguez approaches with an improvised microphone. Mr. Jordan, would you like to make an official statement? Michael looks at his mother, who nods encouragingly. He stands before the cameras with Dolores at his side and David just behind. Today, we officially file a lawsuit against Prestige Medical Center for discriminatory practices, Michael announces, his voice clear and determined. This is not just an individual action. It is a class action that will represent dozens of patients who have been discriminated against at this institution. Reporters begin shouting questions. Mr. Jordan, what damages are you seeking? This isn't about money, Michael replies. It's about justice. It's about ensuring hospitals can't treat patients like second-class citizens based on appearance, race, or social class. What specifically happened to your mother? Michael recounts yesterday's events in detail. Every word is calculated, every detail devastating to the hospital's reputation. Discrimination in the American healthcare system is a silent epidemic, he continues. People die because they don't get proper care. Families go into debt because they are steered toward unnecessarily expensive treatments. Elderly people are humiliated because they don't look wealthy. A CNN reporter approaches. Mr. Jordan, are you using your fame for a personal cause? I am using my influence for a cause that should matter to everyone, he answers. My mother was humiliated yesterday, but she was lucky. She has a son who can fight for her. How many other mothers out there don't have that luck? David Rodriguez steps up to the microphone. We would like to announce we are creating a legal fund to represent, free of charge, any patient who has been discriminated against in private hospitals, he declares. If you have gone through a similar situation, contact us. You are not alone. The crowd applauds. Some people shout support. Others film everything for their social media. Michael raises his hand asking for silence. I want to make one thing very clear, he says. This will not stop here. This hospital will be just the beginning. We will investigate discriminatory practices in healthcare institutions across the country. We will sue all those who treat patients disrespectfully based on prejudice. He pauses, letting his words sink in. And we will build something better. What does that mean? Shouts a reporter. Michael smiles. It's the first genuine smile he has given since yesterday. It means we will show how a hospital should operate. We will build an alternative that treats all patients with dignity, regardless of how much money they have. The statement causes an uproar among reporters. Everyone shouts questions simultaneously. Are you going to build a hospital? Where? When? Michael raises his hand again. All information will be released at the appropriate time. For now, the focus is on the lawsuit and ensuring Prestige Medical Center changes its practices immediately. Dolores approaches the microphone. Her voice is still weak, but her message powerful. I want all mothers, all fathers, all children watching this to know. You deserve respect, no matter your skin color, your age, or how much money you have in the bank. You deserve to be treated with dignity. Her words touch the hearts of everyone watching. Videos of her statement instantly go viral. And if someone tries to treat you differently, she continues, looking directly into the cameras, remember, you have value. You are important. And now you have someone who will fight alongside you. The press conference ends, but the impact is just beginning. Within hours, the story dominates national news. Justice for Dolores becomes a worldwide trending topic. Videos of the hospital confrontation are shared millions of times. Prestige Medical Center tries to do damage control, but it's too late. Public opinion is already formed. They are the villains. Michael and Dolores are the heroes. But Michael knows the real battle is just beginning. Legal processes are long, systemic changes are difficult, building hospitals is expensive and complicated. But he also knows one thing. When Michael Jordan decides to win something, he always finds a way. 3 weeks after the press conference, the world is still talking about the confrontation at Prestige Medical Center. What started as a personal humiliation has turned into a national movement. In David Rodriguez's office, piles of documents cover every desk. Phones ring incessantly. Assistants rush through corridors carrying boxes of evidence. What was supposed to be a simple discrimination case has become the largest class action for civil rights in healthcare in decades. David, how many confirmed cases do we have now? Michael asks, studying reports at an improvised conference table. 223, David replies, adjusting his glasses. And the numbers keep rising. People from all over the country are reaching out, reporting similar discrimination at different hospitals. Michael shakes his head, incredulous. 223 humiliated families. This is unacceptable. Sarah Williams, a 34-year-old single mother, sits on the other side of the table. She was one of the first to seek help after watching the press conference. Mr. Jordan, she says, her voice still trembling with emotion. When I saw your mother speaking on television, I cried, because that's exactly what happened to me and my daughter last year. Michael leans forward, giving her his full attention. Tell me what happened, Sarah. My daughter Isabella, 7 years old, had a very high fever. I took her to Prestige Medical Center because it was the closest hospital. When we arrived, the receptionist looked at me. Sarah pauses, still hurt by the memory. I was wearing my work uniform because I had come straight from cleaning the office. She looked me up and down and told me I should take my daughter to the public hospital. And what did you do? I insisted I had health insurance and could pay, but she kept treating me like I was lying. She made us wait 4 hours. When they finally saw Isabella, they found out she had meningitis. 4 hours, Mr. Jordan. My daughter could have died because of those 4 hours. Michael feels the familiar anger burning in his chest. It's not just about his mother, it's about an entire system that dehumanizes people based on appearance and social class. Is Isabella okay now? She is, thank God. But I will never forget the despair I felt that day, and I will never forget how they made me feel insignificant. David approaches with a new folder. Michael, we have a problem, or rather, we have an opportunity. What do you mean? Prestige Medical Center hired the law firm Morrison and Associates to represent them. They're trying to discredit our case by claiming you're using your fame to intimidate a respectable institution. Michael laughs, but there is no humor in the laugh. They're really trying to play the victim? Worse than that, they're arguing your mother was treated properly according to standard protocols, and that you're twisting the facts to gain publicity. Michael's expression darkens. They want war? Then let's give them war. At that moment, Marcus Johnson enters the room holding a tablet, his face urgent. MJ, you need to see this. On the tablet screen, a CNN anchor is broadcasting live. Curry, 3 more private hospitals in different states are under investigation for similar practices following reports inspired by the Jordan case. The number Justice for Dolores movement has mobilized thousands to share their own experiences of medical discrimination. Marcus switches to another channel. The Illinois Department of Health announced it will conduct a full audit of all private hospitals in the state to review care policies and possible discriminatory practices. And another. The National Hospital Association issued a statement condemning any form of discrimination and promising to review national care standards. Michael smiles for the first time in weeks. It's not just about winning a lawsuit, it's about changing an entire system. Marcus, schedule a meeting with our construction team. Construction? It's time to start building the hospital we promised. David raises his eyebrows. Michael, building a hospital costs hundreds of millions of dollars. It takes years. You need licenses, approvals. David, I make over $100 million a year just from my brand. I can finance this alone if necessary. And as for licenses and approvals, Michael smiles, you forgot that I know some influential people. Jennifer Martinez, the nurse who witnessed Dolores' humiliation, appears at the door. She requested an urgent meeting. Mr. Jordan, may I speak with you? Of course, Jennifer. Please sit down. I've worked at Prestige Medical Center for 8 years, she begins, nervous. I saw your mother humiliated that day and did nothing to help. It tortures me every night. Michael watches her closely. Why didn't you intervene? Because I was afraid of losing my job. Because I had seen this happen before and knew complaining would only cause me trouble. Because, she hesitates, because I'm a coward. You're not a coward, Jennifer. You're human. The system was built to make people like you feel powerless. I want to help now, she says, determined. I have documents, internal emails, recordings of meetings where administrators discuss how to filter out unwanted patients. I want to give everything to you. David leans forward, interested. What kind of documents? Emails where Rebecca receives specific instructions on how to direct low-value patients to separate areas. Recordings of meetings where Dr. Williams talks about keeping the premium clientele satisfied. Internal statistics showing drastic differences in waiting times based on insurance plans. Michael and David exchange looks. These documents could turn a discrimination case into a national medical corruption scandal. Jennifer, Michael says, do you understand this could destroy your career at Prestige Medical Center? My career is already destroyed. Since your story became public, the environment there has become unbearable. They know I sympathize with you. They're intimidating me, isolating me. Then come work with us. What do you mean? At the hospital we are going to build, I want people who truly care about patients, not about profit. People like you. Jennifer feels tears in her eyes. Are you really going to build a hospital? We're not just going to build one, Michael says, his voice full of determination. We will build it right across the street from Prestige Medical Center. And we will show the whole world how a hospital should operate. Months after the legal victory, the land across the street from Prestige Medical Center is bustling with activity. Dozens of bulldozers, cranes, and trucks work to raise something never seen before, a completely free hospital focused on dignity and respect for every patient. Michael is on the construction site, wearing a helmet and safety vest, personally overseeing every detail. This is not just a hospital. It is a statement. It is a revolution. How are the deadlines, Roberto? He asked the chief engineer. On schedule, Mr. Jordan. If all goes well, we open in 6 months. Michael looks at the Prestige Medical Center building across the street. In recent months, they have lost 40% of their patients. Many people have chosen to seek care elsewhere after their discriminatory practices were exposed. Jennifer Martinez approaches carrying architectural blueprints. Michael, you need to approve the waiting room designs. She left Prestige Medical Center 2 months after the trial and became the patient care director of the new hospital. She is one of 50 former employees from various hospitals who joined the project. Show me. The plans reveal waiting rooms completely different from the usual hospital standard. There is no separation between basic care and premium. All rooms are equally comfortable with padded armchairs, soft lighting, a play area for children, and free coffee. Perfect, Michael approves. And the exam rooms? All identical. It doesn't matter if the patient has health insurance or not. Everyone receives the same environment, the same equipment, the same respect. Dr. Robert Chen, a renowned cardiologist who left a $500,000 a year job to join the project, approaches. Michael, I confirmed 16 more specialist doctors. We now have a full team of 73 professionals. Does everyone know the salary here will be lower than in private hospitals? Everyone knows, and everyone chose to be here because they want to be part of something bigger. They want to prove that quality medicine does not have to be a privilege for the wealthy. Michael smiles. In recent months, doctors, nurses, and health professionals from across the country have applied to work on the project. Many left lucrative jobs to join the revolution. Marcus Johnson arrives with a folder of documents. MJ, final approvals from the health department have arrived. We are officially the first completely free hospital with world-class care standards. And operational costs? Fully covered by the Michael Jordan Foundation for the next 10 years. After that, we expect the model to prove sustainable through partnerships with medical schools and government programs. Michael invested $300 million of his own fortune in the project. To him, it is the best investment he has ever made. Dolores arrives at the construction site accompanied by Rosalind, Michael's daughter. At 82 years old, she insists on following every stage of construction. How is it coming along, son? See for yourself, Mom. They walk through the hospital's ground floor under construction. Dolores observes every detail with pride and emotion. This will be the main reception, Jennifer explains. No high counters, no barriers. Staff will treat people as equals. And there? Dolores asks, pointing to a wide area. Family waiting area, with a playroom, free coffee, Wi-Fi, and phone chargers. We want families to feel welcomed, not tolerated. Dolores stops in front of a sign being built at the main entrance. Dolores Jordan Medical Center, where dignity is the first treatment. She feels tears in her eyes. Son, will my name be here forever? Forever, Mom. Every person who walks in here will know this place exists because a brave woman refused to be treated disrespectfully. They leave the building and look at Prestige Medical Center across the street. The difference is striking. On one side, the old building with intimidating architecture and an air of exclusivity. On the other, the modern, open, welcoming construction. Do you think they're nervous? Dolores asks, pointing to the rival hospital. They should be, Michael replies, because when we open, We will prove that respect and quality don't have to cost more. We will prove that treating people with dignity is possible. A car stops in front of the construction site. Sarah Williams gets out with her daughter Isabella, now 8 years old and completely healthy. "Mr. Jordan!" Isabella runs toward Michael. "Can I see how my hospital is coming along?" Michael laughs. Isabella became the unofficial mascot of the project after her story became known. "Of course you can. Want to see your special room?" "I have a special room." Every child treated here has a special room. They enter the building again. Michael shows Isabella the pediatric wing. Colorful rooms, walls with cartoon drawings, ceilings with lights that mimic stars. "Here, no child will have to wait 4 hours to be seen," Michael explains. "Here, no mother will be judged by the clothes she wears." Sarah takes Michael's hand. "Mr. Jordan, I don't know how to thank you. My daughter almost died because of prejudice. Now, because of you, thousands of other children won't go through the same." "It's not because of me, Sarah. It's because of all of us. It's because of people who decided dignity is non-negotiable." Across the street, Dr. Patricia Williams watches the movement through the window of her office. Prestige Medical Center has lost not only patients, but also the best professionals. Its reputation is ruined. Profits have plummeted. She picks up the phone and calls the board of directors. "We need to talk about implementing real changes," she says. "If we don't do something drastic, we'll go bankrupt in 2 years." 6 months later. It's a sunny spring Saturday in Chicago. Thousands of people crowd the street in front of the city's newest hospital. Colorful banners decorate the facade. Balloons float in the air. There's a festive atmosphere, full of hope, of revolution. The Dolores Jordan Medical Center is ready to open its doors. Michael is nervous. He's faced championship-deciding games with less anxiety. But this is different. This can change lives forever. Dolores stands beside him, radiant in an elegant blue dress. At 84 years old, she has become a national symbol of dignity and resilience. She has been invited to speak at universities, graced magazine covers, inspired a movement that spread across the country. "Are you ready, Mom?" "I was born ready, son." The inauguration ceremony attracts important figures. The governor of Illinois is present. Senators, representatives, mayors from various cities, civil rights organization representatives, doctors and nurses from all over the country eager to see the new model in action. But the most important guests are the families from the community, mothers with young children, elderly people who need medical care, those who never had access to quality treatment. Dr. Robert Chen approaches Michael. "All systems tested and working perfectly. We have 120 beds, 15 operating rooms, state-of-the-art equipment in every department. And the staff? 87 top-quality professionals. Doctors who left elite hospitals to be here, nurses with decades of experience, specialized technicians." Jennifer Martinez, now wearing a patient care director badge, joins the group. "Michael, the first patients are already registering. A 75-year-old woman with diabetes who couldn't get adequate care anywhere else. A young family whose baby needs heart surgery. A war veteran neglected by other hospitals." "And how are they being received? Like kings and queens?" Jennifer smiles. "Exactly as planned. The moment of the official opening arrives." Michael takes the microphone before the crowd. "Some time ago, my mother was humiliated on this block." He begins, his voice echoing through the street. "Today, on the very same block, we open a place where humiliation is impossible." The crowd applauds enthusiastically. "This hospital is not just a building with medical equipment," Michael continues. "It is a promise. The promise that every person deserves respect. The promise that quality healthcare is not a privilege, it is a right." He points to the shiny building behind him. "Inside here, it doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter the clothes you wear. You will be treated with the dignity you deserve." Dolores steps up to the microphone. The crowd falls into reverent silence. "And some time ago, I was just an elderly woman who needed medical care," she says, her voice now strong and confident. "Today, I represent millions who were neglected, humiliated, discriminated against." Her words touch everyone's heart. "This hospital is not revenge. It is hope. It's not about punishing those who did wrong. It's about showing what is right." She takes a golden pair of scissors and stands before a red ribbon stretched across the main entrance. I dedicate this place to all the mothers who cried in waiting rooms, to all the fathers who felt powerless against discrimination, to all the children who deserved care but were met with indifference. Dolores cuts the ribbon. The crowd erupts in applause and joyful cheers. Colorful confetti falls from the sky. Balloons are released. It's a historic moment. The doors open and the first patients enter. An elderly lady is greeted by Jennifer Martinez with a genuine smile and a warm hug. A young family is gently escorted to the pediatric area. A man in a wheelchair is treated with full attention and respect. Michael watches it all with emotion. This is the moment he dreamed of through months of construction. Dr. Chen approaches 2 hours after the inauguration. Michael, you have to see this. They walk through the hospital corridors. Every area is working perfectly. Doctors attend patients with patience and care. Nurses explain procedures kindly. Cleaning staff greet people in the hallways. It's exactly as we imagined, says Jennifer, joining them. In the main waiting room, families talk quietly. Children play in the recreation area. There is no tension, no discriminatory anxiety, no fear of being judged. Michael stops before a plaque on the wall. Dolores Protocol. Every patient shall be treated with dignity, respect, and equality, regardless of appearance, origin, social class, or ability to pay. Do you think your mother is proud? Asked Dr. Chen. Michael smiles, looking out the window where he can see Dolores talking with families in the outdoor garden. She's more than proud. She's fulfilled. Weeks later, the Dolores Jordan Medical Center complex is in full operation. Ambulances come and go. Families enter and leave smiling. Doctors and nurses walk through the gardens talking with patients. Michael leaves the main building and sees his mother approaching. Mom, what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to be resting? Son, at 84 years old, rest is not something that interests me. I want to live every moment. They walk together through the hospital gardens. They stop before a statue unveiled the previous month, a bronze sculpture of Dolores Jordan seated in a chair, hands open in a welcoming gesture. At the base, a plaque reads, "To everyone who needs care, here you will find dignity." Do you mind having a statue of yourself? Michael asks. I do mind, Dolores answers, smiling. I care that it reminds people dignity is non-negotiable. They sit on a bench near the statue. Michael watches the movement around, children playing in the hospital playground, families of all ethnicities talking quietly, staff treating everyone with the same respect. Mom, do you have any regrets about all this? Dolores thinks for a moment. Only one. What? That it took so long to happen. Imagine how many people suffered unnecessarily all these years. But at least now it's changing. It's more than changing, son. It's transforming. I received a letter yesterday from a woman in Alaska. She said she was treated well in a hospital there because they followed the Dolores Protocol. Alaska, Michael. Our story reached Alaska. Michael laughs. And it reached other countries too. I've received invitations to talk about the model in Canada, England, Brazil. Are we going to accept? We will. Dignity is universal, Mom. It has no borders. At that moment, Isabella Williams approaches running. She comes to the hospital every Saturday as a junior volunteer. Grandma Dolores! Mr. Michael! She shouts excitedly. Hi, my love, Dolores replies, hugging the girl. You know, I helped a Mexican family today who didn't speak English. I translated for them and explained all the procedures. That's wonderful, Isabella, says Michael. You're going to be an amazing doctor. I'm going to be a doctor just like the ones here, that treat everyone equally. Dolores closes her eyes and sighs deeply. Son, when I was little, my grandmother used to tell me that sometimes an ordinary person can change the whole world. I never believed it. And now I know it's true, because that's exactly what happened. They sit silently, watching the hospital activity. 2 ambulances arrive simultaneously. From one comes a Latino family with a small child. From the other, an elderly Asian woman in a wheelchair. Both are received with the same care, the same attention, the same respect. You know what makes me happiest, Dolores asks. What? Seeing that this is no longer about me, it's no longer about you. It's about an idea that took on a life of its own. The idea that every human being deserves dignity. Michael takes his mother's hand. Mom, you entered that hospital as a humiliated woman. Today you are a worldwide symbol of resistance and dignity. How do you feel? Dolores smiles, looking at the statue, then at the hospital, then at the building across the street where it all began. I feel like a woman who lived long enough to see the change the world needed. I feel like a mother who taught her son to fight for the right people, for the right reasons. She gets up from the bench with some difficulty, but with total determination. And I feel like someone who still has work to do. What work? Ensuring this story is told forever, so that no generation forgets that dignity is something worth fighting for. Michael stands and offers his arm to his mother. Together, they walk back to the hospital, passing the statue, the blooming gardens, the smiling families. Across the street, Rebecca Thompson watches through the window and smiles. Dr. Patricia Williams, who managed to keep her job after implementing drastic changes, also watches respectfully. And in hospitals across the country, millions of patients are treated every day with the dignity Dolores Jordan fought for them. A humiliation turned into a revolution. A personal pain became collective healing. An 84-year-old woman changed an entire system. And the story continues to be written, one family at a time, one hospital at a time, one moment of dignity at a time. This incredible journey of Dolores and Michael Jordan teaches us that a single person can transform the world when they decide dignity is non-negotiable. If this story inspired you, subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories about justice, resistance, and social transformation that need to be told.